Hello folks, and welcome once again as always to another helping of Mr H's Hot Pot. You join me today sat in the old jalopy for Letters from TV Licensing Volume 18. Now I haven't made one of these videos for a couple of months. I'm still getting this crud through the post each and every month, and as you can see it comes in a variety of coloured envelopes. But the reason I haven't bothered making one for a couple of months is the letters contained in these two envelopes you've already seen before. And as I stated in my previous volumes, I'm not going to repeat myself with these. So I'm going to discard these two. We'll get rid of them. We're not interested in that. What we're interested in is this month's Letter from TV Licensing, which dropped on my doormat a couple of days ago. And it's one that I haven't seen before. So I'm going to document it for you now, and we'll take a look at it in our usual way and dissect it. So I'll now retire to the top left-hand corner of your screen, and we'll take a look at this month's Letter from TV Licensing, shall we? So, as always, folks, if my editing skills are up to scratch, you should now be able to see Mr H in the top left-hand corner of your screen, and straight in the centre of your screen you should be able to see a copy of this month's Letter from TV Licensing, which I'm going to read out for you. And I invite you to read along with me as I do so. Read along with Mr H. So, in the top right-hand corner of the letter, we have the TV Licensing logo. Beneath that, we have the TV Licensing web address, which, as a legally licensed free person who has no business with TV licensing, I won't be visiting. Underneath that, there would be a unique reference number to my address, so I've removed that for obvious reasons. Below the reference number, there is the generic date that this letter was sent out, which is September 2021. Over in the top left-hand corner of the letter is the title, The Legal Occupier. And the reason TV Licensing refer to me as the Legal Occupier is they've no idea who lives at Mr H's address, and that's the way Mr H wants to keep it. There would also be below that my address and then a number of uniquely identifiable QR codes to my address. So I've removed all that gubbins, again for obvious reasons. Below that we have the title in bold and in orange, Local Investigation Active in, and then there is a space where they've copied and pasted my postcode. The idea being to try and make this letter look like it has been personalised and is solely targeting me, when that is not the case. This template of letter will have been sent out to thousands of addresses this particular month. The letter then goes on to state, as there is no record of a TV licence at your address, we have authorised an enforcement visit. It is a criminal offence to watch or record live TV programmes on any channel or device, or download or watch BBC programmes on iPlayer, without being covered by a TV licence. This could result in prosecution and a fine of up to £1,000, plus any legal costs and or compensation you may be ordered to pay. Then in bold and in orange it states, last year we visited an address every 6 seconds. Officers were in all parts of the country, including, and then in that little space there, once again they've copied and pasted my postcode. Every day they knocked on around 8,000 doors, weekdays, evenings and weekends. Then underneath it states, in bold and in orange, how to stop a visit in, and once again they've placed my postcode there. They like using my postcode, or the postcode in this particular template of letter, don't they? Buy a TV licence at, and then they've repeated the TV licensing website, with payments starting from £6 a week. Or move an existing licence to your current address at, and then there's another division of the TV licensing web address. Or tell us you don't need one at, and once again there's another subdivision of the TV licensing website. I'm not going to do any of that, because it should also state, or don't bother replying to this letter as you're not legally obliged to do so. Then the letter starts to close by stating, for help with any of the above, please call, there's a telephone number, or turn over for more information. As I don't need a TV licence, and I legally don't need a TV licence, I won't be bothering turning over. If you do not do any of the above, you can expect a visit soon. Yours faithfully, Jane Jeffers, Enforcement Manager. And then at the side of the title Enforcement Manager, they have My Area, or they would have My Area had I not removed it. Then, over on the other side of that, as you can see, they've put like a little stamp on that states enforcement visit approved, and then there's a signature there, and then the word officer beneath it, and then the 1st of September 2021. Now, that stamp on this letter, I can tell you, has just been printed on. It's not actually been stamped on. And if you are going to try and fool people, TV licensing, then you need to make the signature on that stamp the same as the one of the enforcement manager, because I can't make out what that is. It looks like Scott somebody or other, but it's certainly not J. Jeffers. Then in small print, right at the bottom of this letter, it states, in Scotland, Scottish criminal law applies. A report will be sent to the Procurator Fiscal, who will decide on prosecution. And then, were they state as the visiting address every 6 seconds, they go into that by saying it's based on average annual visits made between 2017 and 2019, and available working hours in a week. Then, as always, it states, please do not write below this line. Now, something that I haven't mentioned in previous volumes is that below that line, they normally have the unique reference number that they have on the top right-hand corner of the letter, which, again, I remove. But it's interesting to note that should I write below this line, how they would ever know. Always my little joke, that one. Right then, what do we make of this particular letter? Well, I'm going to come back onto the big screen for you now, and we'll dissect this letter, and we'll have a little bit of fun with it. So join me on the big screen in a moment. So if all's gone well, I should now be back on the big screen, and we'll be able to take a look at this month's letter from TV licensing in a bit more detail and dissect it in our usual way, whilst having a little bit of fun with it. Now, the big question is, will this particular template nudge Mr. H into contacting TV licensing regarding his licensable status? Well, the answer to that, Hot Potters, as always, is no. I won't be contacting them because I have no legal obligation to do so. But this month's letter from TV licensing doesn't tell us anything that we don't already know or we haven't heard before in previous templates, really. You know, they go on about knocking on doors every 6 seconds and, you know, you need a licence or it's a criminal offence. It's just telling you the same garbage. It's just putting it over in a different way. However, I did have to have a little smile when I read local investigation active in. And the reason for that is I used to be a big fan of League of Gentlemen, and I used to particularly like the sketches with Edward and Tubbs in, and I can now imagine in my mind Edward saying, "What's all this? We'll have no trouble here. This is a local investigation for local people." But that's just my mind, to be honest, Hot Potters. Now, when it goes on and it says last year we visited an arrest every 6 seconds and we knocked on around 8,000 doors, the next question has to be asked, how many people answered? And of not all those doors that you knocked on, how much information did you get out of them? That's the interesting question. But by stating they've knocked on doors, again, it sounds very threatening and very ominous, and that's what they're trying to do. Now, when you get down to the bottom and you see the enforcement visit approved stamp, again, that's just a little bit of theatrics that they've stuck on there. You don't need to worry about this. If you've received this particular month, you can bin it along with the rest of them, which is what I advise that you do. So, folks, that was Letters from TV Licensing, Volume 18. We're slowly getting up to the double dirty dozen of these, aren't we? Now, one question I do get asked a lot in this series of videos is, why do you keep making these videos? You know, you're not telling us anything new. I make these videos for people who haven't seen these letters before or are at the beginning of the legally licence-free journey. Because it's surprising, although the old sweats, such as myself and many other people out there, won't fall for this rubbish, there are still people out there who do, and do end up contacting them when they don't need to. And that's the purpose of these videos, to have a little bit of fun with these letters, and to just put it out there to people that you don't need to bother or reply to them if you don't wish to. Anyway, folks, like I said, that was Letters from TV Licensing, Volume 18. Hopefully you'll join me for Letters from TV Licensing Volume 19, whenever that drops. It might be next month, it might get in another couple of months' time, depending on what they send through the post. So, until then, from myself, Mr. H, as always, it is bye-bye for now.